Hey, everybody, welcome to Another Bad Call, the podcast that proves the refs aren't the only ones who get it wrong. I'm JD. As you can see, it's just Justin joining me tonight as Nat had some other responsibilities to take care of. Justin, how you doing tonight? Did you recover from a fun day on the golf course yet?
Doing pretty good. I noticed I got a little bit of the raccoon eye going on from the sun or the wind. I don't know which it was, but it was a beautiful day out there.
Gorgeous day.
Had a good
Gorgeous
time.
day.
Had a few shots that were noteworthy. That made
Yeah,
the kind
par
of
five?
make you want to come back out to the golf course.
Par 5, hole 5, right?
That's right. Pitched in from about 45 yards for the 6-degree wedge. It was pretty nice. I couldn't even see the hole, so
it was beautiful. For context, you hit over cart path, right? So over cart path, over sand trap to a blind landing, and that thing, I mean, it tracked the whole way. You probably landed about 15 feet short, and it just tracked the entire way. It was like almost one of those slow motion things of, is it really going to go in type of deal? And it was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I played the short irons pretty well today. I felt had a hell of a time getting off the tee.
Yeah,
most notably 18 when I choked it away.
Yeah, so go out as a foursome. We played today, and going into the 18th hole, Justin, you were up by 1. And did I tee off before you?
No.
That's right.
I stood up there because I picked up the stroke on the par 3 17.
That's right.
To get ahead.
Because that had the never-ending roll that just would never stop. But you put one in the woods. I duffed another drive like, I don't know, 100 yards or whatever.
You had the second best shot of the day on 18.
Yeah, I my 7-iron from about 189 out, put it 10 feet below the pin, and hit my birdie. So the 2 birdies of the day belong to both of us. But
7-iron
from
190. You're gonna have to go pee in a cup. Get you tested.
There was a lot of bounce and roll on that. There was. It probably flew about 160 and then ran another 25. But
oh man, it was good to get out. Lovely Labor Day, and now we get to chat some football here as NFL Week 1 is upon us.
Absolutely. We are going to make this one short tonight for a variety of reasons. As you, I'm sure, can hear, my voice is not my voice. So we're going to try to make it quick. We do have some quick news and notes. We got some season-long predictions for you. And then, of course, our bad call of the week. Before we get started, please do not forget to like and subscribe. That really helps us out, really helps the channel, and it's totally free. So really appreciate you. And with that, let's go ahead and start running through our news here. Justin, feel free to jump in with any of these if something jumps out at you. First, and one of the bigger stories, Ricky Pearsall on the NFI list for 4 weeks after an attempted robbery. Oh boy, an attempted robbery, and he ends up getting shot. Crazy story, just crazy. I believe his mom said the bullet exited out his back, missed all the vital organs. He hopefully he heals fast. It's crazy.
It was insane. Already battling shoulder injury. That bullet through the chest doesn't really help that. But he did go full John Wick and pulled the dude's gun away from him and managed to shoot him with his own gun. So glad he's all right. Hate to see that.
He walked to the ambulance.
Yeah.
Like, here's me. I sneeze. I throw my back out. I'm just laying on the couch. I'm done. And this guy's like, I've been shot. I'll go ahead and walk to the ambulance. So speedy recovery. Hate seeing stuff like that. Be smart, people. Come on. Sticking with San Francisco, Brandon Aiyuk. That whole drama's finally over for now. He signs a 4-year, $120 million extension. So that one's done. Now it's to Trent Williams. What's going to happen there? As we talked last week, that makes a huge difference.
Trent Williams, I was just reading some stuff. He's still not happy, and this one could go into the season here a week or two if San Francisco doesn't come up with some adjustments to that contract.
He's got a record of actually holding out
because they gotta save money for Brock Purdy too.
Right. Cap is a myth. But I mean, as I mentioned, Trent Williams held out before, right, when he was with Washington. He's got that. He's not likely to bluff. So
right.
Very interesting what's going on there. Speaking of extensions, Mike McDaniel, head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he gets an extension. I don't have the numbers up in front of me, but you and I have talked about this. Like we love McDaniel. Like this is awesome for him.
Coolest nerd on the block out there, man.
Right.
And I love the memes of him before and after spending a couple of years in Miami. Pretty good stuff.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's stick with contracts. Still nothing on Dak. I found these interesting when he was asked about it, that he said it says a lot if it is or isn't done. It's a very telling comment and he's not wrong, of how does the organization feel about him. No words need to be said. If it's not done, that pretty much gives you the answer, right? And he's playing on his final year.
Yeah, Dak has been, for me, like one of the exciting players to have on your fantasy roster. He puts up a lot of stats and everything, but the big question for Dallas is, can he win the big game? And we'll see. We'll see what goes on in this season. If he does win, they're gonna have to either open it up or somebody's gonna pay him a lot of money.
The interesting thing for me here is I don't know that you can always put it on Dak, because I feel like when it was Romo too, it was the same thing. Like they were playing really well, and then when it got to the big game, all of a sudden everything was completely different. How much of that can you pin solely on the quarterback when there's how many other guys out there playing? You got 52 other guys that are responsible.
They've struggled at the running back position since Zeke left a couple of years ago, and he's back now, but he's not Zeke of old.
Their running back room does not look good. Might be the weakest one in the league.
Right. And then they've lost some of their stud offensive linemen. They really don't have much beyond CeeDee Lamb in the wide receiver room. Brandon Cooks is all right, but he's kind of probably past his peak, so to say. So it'll be interesting. Dallas, certainly Philly's good in that division, but the other teams are not so great.
Right. Don't really have to worry so much about them. But then again, it's the NFL. You never know, and we'll see what happens when we get into our predictions a little bit later.
Totally.
All right. Let's keep rolling with these professional type segues. We were talking about running backs here for a second. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to miss 4 games. They put him on the NFI list so they can deal with some post-traumatic stress disorder related to a self-defense situation from, it looks like, when he was in college. Didn't really go into the details on that. Anytime we're talking about mental health, really hope he gets it all worked out, because that's not something you want to mess around with, especially in a game where you're taking constant head hits, right? So KC does sign Samaje Perine, who got released from the Broncos, so that their room is now Isaiah Pacheco, Samaje Perine, and then Carson Steele, who was a preseason darling there at the end. Ran over the Bears for a little bit.
It'd be interesting to see Samaje Perine really good as a pass catching back. I don't know how good of a real running back he is. He got cut by the Broncos. That kind of tells me a little bit. And
well, yes and no. Yeah, I mean, one, you've got Javonte Williams, who they spent a high round pick on, and then you and I both know Sean Payton falls in love with his running backs, and he obviously likes Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime. I'm sorry. He really likes him a lot too. Yeah, you're going to run out of mouths to feed there, especially when that offense probably isn't going to do a whole lot. But just an interesting thing to keep out on there. And then this one, I don't remember if this was today or yesterday. All my days are running together on cold meds. Caleb Williams gets announced as one of the 8 team captains for the Bears. Now, there was a bunch of other team captains things. This one's just notable to us, obviously, because we're huge Bears fans. And rookie QB getting team captain. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is voted on by the teammates, so it doesn't surprise me. He's came in as a leader, really taking that role on, as we've seen through Hard Knocks and whatnot. I'm not surprised, and I think probably most teams, more teams than not, the starting quarterback is one of your captains. So
Usually, right?
Yeah.
I do apologize. Just mute before I hack up a lung here. So we just talked about it in Hard Knocks. We have episode 5 comes out tomorrow. So we have episode 4 to talk about. I got a couple of notes here. Anything jump out to you from this last episode?
It was heartbreaking to see Wheeler,
Ian
Wheeler bust up his knee. That was probably one of the most interesting episodes we had. We saw some real insight into how the running back coaches worked with their players, and they were really, we got a good view on Ian Wheeler in this one. I kind of wish they would have talked about the female assistant running back coach a little bit more and her journey and path into NFL coaching, because she's one of the very few female coaches. And I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name, but
yeah, that's okay.
But those coaches were really, they were excited about him, and for him to, in a seemingly innocuous play, end up tearing his ACL. It was tough because the kid has put his life on hold to come after this dream. He's accepted into medical school and everything, and to see it this season cut short really was unfortunate. Probably fortunate for Velus Jones Jr., if you ask me, but
right. Jennifer King is her name, by the way.
Jennifer,
offensive assistant, running backs coach. The first note I have on here literally is Ian Wheeler stuff was hard to watch. Knowing what was coming along and seeing the way the coaches interact with them, almost in a way, you've got kids like parents almost, right? Where really trying to get the best out of them, and they both doing it in their own way. And I don't want to say good cop, bad cop, because that's not really what it was, but just coming at it from 2 different angles and getting that all worked out. And on that note, I loved seeing the bit at the end with Poles talking to Wheeler. That was just a really cool way to see your GM interacting with a player of like, listen, my door is always open. My phone is always on. You need to talk about it. You just need to cry. Like, listen, man, you're a human first and a player second at that point in time. Just absolutely love seeing that. And I'm sure there's other GMs that do it or whatnot, but I just love to see the GM of the team that we root for that way. That's just fantastic.
In a league that's like good old boy network and stuff, it's refreshing to see that the team that we root for has kind of a modern thinking, not full of ego, all about me. My decision is the final. He's a collaborative guy, and he's not afraid to take chances, but he's going about things in a really cool way. I respect it a lot.
Making Chicago be a desirable location for other players. I've seen a couple other little bits and like news stories where people are mentioning now players are like, hey, I want to go there because there is a culture now happening. Couple of little quick notes. The arm wrestling stuff, I'm okay if I never see any of that again. Like, what's the point? Like, I really don't need any of that. It was cool when we
saw Over the Top back in the 80s, but
yeah,
for real, I'm done with this.
Sliced alone, put the thumb over. But really, like, I don't really need any of that, so don't need any of that anymore. The stadium walk-in was hilarious to me because the list of like the way the order it went, So you start with Flus, right, and his new makeover. Then you go to Mahomes. Then you go to Caleb Williams. Then you go to Travis Kelce. And then it's like Tyson Bagent and Austin Reed. Like, your star power is like, hey, here's all these people. And then, oh, yeah, there's other people on the team. Like, maybe we could have done something else there. But I understand part of, it's who was on that episode. Let's see. Did I have anything else on that? No, that was really about it. Just one other little thing on the Ian Wheeler stuff that I made a note of. If he can keep his speed, make a full recovery and keep his speed, and continues on with the game and doesn't, pursue the whole med school thing, he could be a very interesting player to watch next year.
For sure.
Definitely has game-breaking speed. So we'll see what happens there and really wish him the best of luck on a quick recovery. All right, dude, do you have anything else, news, notes, hard knocks, anything before we jump into our main event?
No, I'm ready to get to it.
All right. Sorry, I'm sipping on my mint tea with my honey, just trying to be able to get through here. So, what you drinking on? Too. What do you got?
Hazy something, Hot Butcher, really tasty beer.
All right, so he's got a beer. It looked like orange juice from here, but probably more tasty.
It's a hazy double IPA.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to make some seasonal predictions. And when I say seasonal, I'm not talking about who's MVP, who's going to be stat leader, none of that. No, we may save that for another episode here in the first couple weeks once we get rolling. But we're going to look just from a team standpoint. So we're going to select our division winners. We will select our wild card teams, and then we will go into our conference champions and, of course, our Super Bowl champion. And then let's see where we're at. So we are using, I'll share my screen here, hopefully, if I can get this. All right. You seeing my screen?
There you go.
Are you seeing me here, Justin? All right.
Yeah, I am.
All right. So this is tiermaker.com. TIER maker.com. Really cool stuff. I need to spend some more time on it. We used this earlier when we did our offensive positional group rankings for the NFC North. We're going to go ahead and do it here. Unfortunately, we can't double up, so we can't put mine and Justin. So you're just going to be seeing my division winners on this one, but we'll let Justin talk a little bit about his. Let's go ahead and start in the AFC East. Justin, who you got winning that one?
AFC East, Baltimore Ravens.
And that's going to be one that we do agree on. That one is the Ravens division to lose, in my opinion. I know if Nat was on here, he'd be pushing me to put a Steelers logo up there. Not going to let him backpedal his way out of that one because he said it, folks. Check the tape.
Yep.
And with that, I don't think we need to say a whole lot about it. They've got the strongest team right now with the least amount of question marks.
Agreed.
All right, let's flip it over geographically here and go to the AFC West. EFC, good Lord. AFC West. Who you got coming out of that one?
It's still the Chiefs, kings of.
Oh, yep. Until they prove otherwise. I mean,
look at the
honestly,
other
that division's a mess.
Like I said, I think I predicted the other three teams to nobody else to get to 6 wins. So
yeah, I mean the wild card there for me is honestly the Chargers, right? Because you just don't really know what they're going to do this year.
Yeah,
but they always find a way to kind of shoot themselves in the foot. So, all right, I'll go ahead and take AFC South first, since I made you do the other ones first, and I've got the Texans taking this one.
It's chalk so far. I got the same. They just showed too much last year. Hard to pick otherwise for me.
We will get into some differences here, I promise. Yeah, I agree. I think Indy is going to be interesting, but the other two teams, Tennessee is going to have to take a huge jump. In Jacksonville, I don't know what it is. They just also can't seem to get out of their own way. But
yeah.
Also, AFC East is not the Ravens, by the way. They're AFC North.
Oh, sorry.
I can't believe it
took
me that long.
I led you astray there. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it took me that long to get through that. I was like, wait a second. I was like, didn't we already pick the AFC North? All right, so let's go back up. We got Ravens winning the North. Who we got winning in the East?
The Jets.
Let me check my notes. Do you have the Jets as well?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. This one I went back and forth on for a little bit. I don't know how close it was for you, but I was close on this one.
Not really close for me. I'm pretty
Okay.
high on the Jets for that
Okay.
division.
Yeah. I mean they've got all the tools. It's going to be what happens with Rodgers, right? So.
Right.
Okay. I'm kind of a lot like Atlanta that we've talked about Atlanta last year. Like, if they had a QB, they would have been right there for their division type of deal. All right, let's go ahead and keep rolling. Let's move into the NFC East. Or do you want to do our wild cards? Let's go ahead and do our wild cards.
Let's do our wild cards.
Yeah, I'm really well organized right here.
We're close, but we're not the same.
Okay.
I
one of my wild cards. I'll go first.
Okay.
I do have the Dolphins coming in from the East as well as a wild card team.
Same.
All right. You want to go ahead and take your next one because I'm curious. I'm looking at yours now to try to figure out.
I picked the Bengals as a wild card.
You have the Bengals. Okay. Like I said, I'm only going to post mine. We'll try to get yours posted, to the website or whatever.
That's fine. I got this little bracket made up. We could show that later if we want.
Yep. I have another East team in there. I've got 3 teams coming in from the East. Listen, excuse me. This is, again, same thing we kind of talked with other teams. Like, until the other teams prove it, that's just kind of where I'm at. The Bengals, for me, feel like there's some stuff going on that makes me hesitant to have any confidence in them whatsoever. And, it'll probably bite me in the butt. I faded them a lot in fantasy for this reason. There's just a lot of question marks.
We'll see what happens. But I feel like there's got to be a little bit of a change / upset to just the status quo of what we've been seeing. There's always something different. So
right. That's why it's the NFL, not for long, right?
Right. So that's why I went with Cincinnati over Buffalo, because to me, Buffalo has a lot of question marks as well.
Yeah, and I understand, like, they lose Diggs, they lose Davis. They do take some defensive hits, but that team was always Josh Allen's team. They've got Kincaid, we'll see how Coleman is, Knox, and between James Cook and Ray Davis, and then just Josh Allen being Josh Allen. We'll see what happens. But that's why it's predictions, right? So
yep.
I think we agreed on our last wildcard team, though. I had the Colts coming in on this one.
I also have the Colts as my 7th. This one's a little bit spicy, but you know what? They battle. They battle every year, and they were battling right down to the end of the season last year, and when they lost their quarterback. So.
Yeah, that was actually my reasoning behind it too, is because this year, if you lose Richardson, you've got Flacco. And yeah, it'd be obviously probably a different offense, because Flacco's not going to run around the same way, but they've got the weapons to win right now.
Yeah.
To make some noise. So
cool. I almost picked them to win the AFC South and
did you?
And the Texans as the wild card, but
all right.
I didn't. I think it could be close. It could be like just come down to a tiebreaker in that division.
That division's always close. I feel like they play each other really tough.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. There are our 7 AFC playoff teams. Let's go ahead and move on to our NFC, and let's talk about NFC East. Who you got coming on the NFC East?
I've got the Eagles.
Yep, I don't think this one's that close, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So don't need to spend a lot of time on that one. All they've done is gotten better, I think, offensively, and the hiring of Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio as coordinators. I think they're just they're going to be a team to beat. All right, I'll flip it. NFC West. I believe on this one, I've got the Niners. Again, until another team shows me otherwise. Now, I played with this one just for like a half second because we've talked about how important Trent Williams is. If he doesn't play, this one might be up for grabs.
True. Definitely. They were pretty healthy last year, too. If they deal with some health issues, could change things around a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm assuming you had them out of the West as well then.
Correct.
All right. Who you got coming out of the South?
The Falcons. I think with a competent quarterback who's been there, a veteran, to go with those weapons that they've drafted from the 8th slot for year after year after year, they're ready to come over the top in that division. Carolina's not there.
Yep.
Tampa's got an aging wide receiver core. I'm just not sure that they can get it done. And New Orleans they've just been in a weird spiral.
That's very strange. I mean, there's already talk about Spencer Rattler taking over in November. Like, the season hasn't started and we're already talking about possibly replacing your starting quarterback. Very, very interesting to me. And I think you and I have both kind of agreed on this one that the Lions will be taking the North this year. Again, they're the reigning kings right now. So until another team proves it.
I did pick the Lions to win the North.
Yep. All right. Let's get into our wild cards here. Who's your first wild card team?
My first wild card team would be the Bears.
The Bears. He brings the Bears in.
I had them in 5th place, yes. Is
this a homer pick?
I mean, it would be hard
or
for
are you
people.
Standing on your 12-5?
It would. 11-6 gets them the 5th wild card, I think, and like I said, I like it. Is it a homer pick? It could be, but I also see some flaws in some of the other teams that.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'd be curious. We're pretty close. I think we only have one other difference with the wild cards here.
Yeah, so, I'm looking at it now to see where you're at. So the other one we agree on, right? We both have Dallas in there. Yes. Just kind of perpetual, like they're right there. Again, the NFC East is going to play each other tough. We'll see how that team pulls out. The difference here, and it's funny, I'm looking at who you picked. I wrote them down and then changed my mind. I had it for like 3 seconds. But so I'll go ahead and I went ahead and brought in the Rams.
And I like the Rams, and it was close for me, but
yep.
I just think you're gonna see some things change, and I went with the Cardinals with Kyler Murray hopefully being healthy. He's got his tight end, he's got a stud receiver now.
Yep.
I think he's gotten that Cliff Kingsbury stuff washed away from him, and I could see them making a step up this year.
Right. Starting to change the culture a little bit there. They still have James Conner, then they've got Trey Benson behind him. As you mentioned, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., and then I still like Michael Wilson as a second-year number 2.
Yeah.
Definitely an option. Like I said, I had Arizona in there, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to pull them out. And honestly, I wasn't super confident with the Rams, but as I was going across the rest of the NFC, I was like, I don't know who else you put in here.
Right. I mean,
maybe Green Bay, maybe because they, the run they went on. But, you and I have talked about the confidence in Jordan Love. So, I mean, what other NFC team are you even thinking about at that point?
The Packers are still the youngest team in the NFL, and they're due for some adversity.
And they're going to take a running back or a hit to their running game too. No Aaron Jones and now AJ Dillon on IR.
Right.
I left that out of the news section. So, and they've already got Marshawn Lloyd, their rookies, also hurt.
Yep. I'll just be interested to see because I'm still not sold on Jordan Love.
Me neither. We've talked. I think he throws off his back foot and likes to hop around a whole lot. But all right, so there we go. We've got our playoff teams. We are set. We're not going to go bracket style here. I know you did on yours. I just went straight to my conference winner, and we do differ on this one.
Yeah.
We do. And I am going to go ahead and drop out of this. I'm going to stop sharing this because we don't need to. I don't have anything pulled up for that. So let's just go back to you and me talking. Who you got coming out of the AFC?
The AFC, I've got the Ravens. I feel like Lamar, with another year with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, he's got Andrews still playing at a high level, and now they've just got a beast in the backfield who maybe his better years, maybe he's not going to break 80-yard touchdowns, but they don't need him to break 80-yard touchdowns. Nope. So with Derrick Henry back there, they're so well coached, and the defense is good. Roquan Smith is one of the top 4 defensive players in the league, probably. He's quiet because he quietly goes about it, but it hurts that he's not on the Bears, but that needed to happen for the Bears to grow. So
yeah, interesting hearing Poles talk about how that's like one of his regrets, or his regrets. But as you said, that's just kind of where they were at, and it needed to happen, and here we are. But yeah, it's hard to argue with that, and I toyed with this for a little bit. I initially put Baltimore as it, and then backed it out and went, you know what? Again, I've been saying it the whole way until I'm proven otherwise. I think I've got Kansas City doing it again. I've got them going to the Super Bowl as the AFC team, and I think they're going to do it differently this year. One thing I can count on from Andy Reid is that he's going to get his players in the right position. I think you see, I heard the term, I don't remember who said it, smart time player, not a part-time player out of Kelsey, but a smart time player. And I really liked that, that you're going to see a little bit more. It's not just going to be thrown at Kelsey nonstop. You're going to see a little bit more out of them. And that team's going to be a little bit more balanced and well-rounded. And if they were getting it done before when everybody knew who the ball was going to, I have no reason to believe they can't do it when you don't know who the ball's going to.
I think they're going to suffer on defense. The L'Jarius Sneed trade away.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna hurt them, and they're gonna have to score more. Yeah. The running game is still questionable to me, but
okay.
I said it in my draft, and I drafted Patrick Mahomes to my fantasy team this year. I think he could go for over 50 touchdowns this year. So
bonus prediction right there.
He's got some weapons, and yeah, I think he could put up a monster year. He hasn't been there stats wise, but he hasn't needed to be, and it's time for him to step up.
Yep.
That came out like he hasn't been great. He has been great, right, but he hasn't needed to put up gaudy numbers. They've been controlling the games and winning, but I think he's going to have to put some more points on the board this year.
Absolutely.
But I did not have Kansas City in my Super Bowl. I got the Ravens. So,
yep, you got the Ravens winning that one. And again, we'll try to get these up on the website at some point so that we can see them, and we'll get Nat's picks in here so you can see the Steelers going as far as he takes them. Let's go ahead and jump over to the NFC because we're different on this one too. I've got Philly on this one. Again, like, all I've seen out of them since last season is improvements, right? In the areas where it mattered. And their coordinators, They've added another receiver. They added a good running back. Like, everything that they needed to get to. The question mark for me is how much is losing Jason Kelce going to impact that team? I've said it before. I think he, I don't want to say undervalued because he's very popular. Like, everybody loves him and whatnot. But what he brought to that team, I think a lot of people are just kind of overlooking. I'm sure Cam Jurgens is going to be fine. Jason Kelce helped handpick him and train him and whatnot. But there's certain aspects of a player's game that you just can't replicate. And I think that knowledge, that experience, and that heart that Kelce played with is going to be hard to duplicate. But they've got so much other stuff going for them that I think they are the team to beat in the NFC.
I toyed with them. I really did. I like Kellen Moore being at the helm, calling plays. I like that a lot for A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I'm not 100% sold on Jalen Hurts as a throwing quarterback, though. And without his guy in front of him, I have them making the playoffs. I have them winning the division.
You got them in the conference championship game.
The conference championship, but I went with the Lions. And I'm picking the Lions to win the Super Bowl. And here's all I'll say. Is you better do it, Detroit, because fucking Bears are coming for you.
I like it. This is your 1 year to do it, is basically what you're saying.
This is it. This is your chance because we're fucking coming for you.
The window closes after this year. I can appreciate the commitment to your team. I appreciate that there. I talked about this one too a little bit. Like, I mean, it wasn't really that close for me. We've talked about this before. When I look at the Lions, Goff is he's been fine at QB. He's been serviceable. I'm not going to say game record or anything like that, right? He's just serviceable. Amon-Ra is fantastic. Love Amon-Ra as a receiver. Sam Laporta appears to be the real deal. David Montgomery is Mr. Dependable, who everybody forgets about. Jahmyr Gibbs looks really exciting, and that line is really good. Aiden Hutchinson, He's a beast, right? And there's continuity there with your head coach, your offense coordinator, your defense coordinator. What is it, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn? Like, you've got all these pieces in place. My problem here is when you're looking at the receiver group after Amon-Ra, what am I looking at? Right?
It's been talked about. I think that Jameson Williams is going to step up. He's a first-round wide receiver.
He is. He hasn't played, right? Either because he's been hurt or because he's gambling. Like, those are the things.
My kind of guy.
Exciting player, right? Can he be consistent and make those plays for him? I'll be looking to see if our Fighting Illini guy, Isaiah Williams, ends up making some plays for them. Keep an eye on him in dynasty formats for those of you that get down on some dynasty fantasy football. Isaiah Williams, keeping an eye out there because there's definitely room, right? There's room in that offense to step up and take a spot. Just too many little question marks for me. But I think you're right. I think they're riding that momentum, right? You saw it last year. Everybody was rooting for him. They're not the underdog anymore. So it'll be curious to see how that plays out this year. Is Detroit going to Detroit, as they say? But I'm all for them going to the Super Bowl. I'd even be all for them winning. One, because like you said, that window's closing very quickly because hopefully the Bears are on the ascend. But get me some Eminem airtime for Super Bowl, and I'm all for it. That'll be exciting. And Keegan Michael Key, right? He's a big Lions fan, so that'll be very entertaining.
Yeah.
All right. So the only thing I didn't do was tell you who my Super Bowl champion was. We both have the NFC team winning. I do have the Chiefs falling short to the Eagles in this one in what is a rematch of 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I believe.
Except this time it's not the Kelce Bowl or whatever it is. like I said, I just think Philly has improved in all the spots where they needed to improve. And I think last year was going to be more of a fluke than anything else. I mean, they were rough. Like, it was just all the bad, like, there's little tiny bad bounces that appeared to go their way, did not go their way. I do not expect a ton of the tush push this year. Definitely not at the same success rate anyway. I think they start scoring in other ways, especially in that Kellen Moore offense. But I think they finally get it done. And part of me, it would hurt to say that because I really wanted to, I kind of want to see the Chiefs get their 3 in a row, right? Because it's history.
Cool.
We get to witness that, you know? But I think they might come up a little bit short and just be a little outmatched. Although I love having it be Philly against Andy Reid. Like, I just like the idea of doing that.
I cheer for the Chiefs as like a secondary team. I have been before they won their Super Bowls. I've liked Andy Reid forever.
Back in the Alex Smith days.
I once they drafted Patrick Mahomes after the Bears passed on him, I kind of just adopted them as my second team because, you know.
Passed on him is an understatement.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan Pace. All right. Anything else you want to talk about on these predictions before we move on?
No, it's always fun to put your nose out on the line there and make your predictions, and we'll have to revisit this at the end of the season to see how close we came. But I mean, we'll have to maybe it'll be maybe I know the season will have started, but maybe we'll have to put some player predictions out for next week, or just put them out in written format, either on Twitter or X or on our website.
Absolutely. I mean, we're getting into, so we'll have games this week, obviously. So we're recording. It is Monday, September 2nd, 2024. We have a game on Thursday. Like, we're ready to go. We get some action. We got a game Thursday. We got a game Friday, and then we go Sunday, and then we'll be recording during Monday Night Football towards the end of the game. So we'll have some stuff going on there. You'll see a very distracted Justin and me. So Nat's going to have to carry that one. But because we'll be checking scores and bets and fantasy teams and all that fun stuff. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and do our bad call of the week. Sure. I'll go ahead and let you jump out here. What you got?
All right.
Oh, he's got to take a drink for this one, folks. Buckle up.
My bad call of the week is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a very fine wide receiver, but this fella has only finished year 3 of his 4-year deal that he signed. I don't have a problem when receivers hold out after the 4th year when the teams are picking up the player option. Negotiate that, get that big contract after you complete your 4-year deal. But Jamar Chase is holding in, per se, because he's coming to the team's events, that he's coming to practices. He's just not practicing. Well, he's choosing when he wants to practice, which is very infrequently. And here's my issue with Jamar Chase. He says that he wants to be the top paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He wants 1 penny more than Justin Jefferson. Now, this is what Jamar Chase has done. He's owed $9.8 million this year. A team option next year for the 5th year would be $21.8 million. He wants the most money in the league. As a rookie in 2021, he was 20th in receptions, 4th in yards, and 3rd in touchdowns as a wide receiver. Very great for a rookie. Great start. In 2022, he was 14th in receptions, 17 in yards, and tied for 6th in touchdowns. And then last year, he was 12th in receptions, 12th in yards, and tied for 18th in touchdowns. That does not deserve to be the highest paid player, non-quarterback player in the NFL. I'm sorry. Finish your damn contract, then we can talk.
I'm curious if you had to rank the two pushing for a contract, which one you were most upset with or fired you up more? Aiyuk or Chase?
Oh, Chase hasn't finished his deal here. The other guys have been, Aiyuk and CeeDee Lamb got their 4 years in. It was the option they wanted to get started on a next deal. So
That's
again,
fair.
Like CeeDee Lamb, stud. I think he earned what he got, and Aiyuk, he didn't get the top of the market. He didn't ask for the top of the market. It was a little wonky what he was holding out for there, but he just wanted to feel respected. It's just that one's hard, when you got all those other superstars there in San Francisco.
And you're a role player on a superstar studded team.
Right. So I got nothing against Jamar Chase. He's a hell of a wide receiver. When I started looking at the stats and what the situation is with his contract, he's only finished 3 years. It started firing me up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the team owner is in the same book or same boat as you. So totally get it. All right, my bad call of the week goes to me. Listen, we're hitting football season, which means I put my DraftKings away. I put my sports book away for the most part. We've talked. I did a couple Masters bets, that sort of thing. Football came out, which means now I start getting all the emails and the notifications about, hey, here's a profit boost on this and yada, yada, yada. So I get one today as a profit boost for the Boston College Florida State game that's happening right now. It's 2-minute warning. Boston College is up 28-13 on number 10 Florida State University. So way to go, Boston College. Gotta love college football. So I had a profit boost for it. I'll be 100% honest. I'm not up to date on college football. I've been full on NFL for the last couple of weeks, months, whatever it is, prepping for fantasy football, all that sort of thing. Don't really pay that much attention. I haven't even paid that much attention to the Fighting Illini, who I love, even though they just had a fantastic game. And Justin, you could touch on that another week here. But I had the profit boost, and I'm going through and I'm looking real quick, just trying to pick something real fast as I'm eating dinner. And I see one for 90 plus rushing yards. And in my brain, it didn't even register to check on anything. I bet 90 plus rushing yards. Don't really remember what the odds are right now. It was, I don't know, plus 200, 310, something like that. I'll look it up. For Thomas Castellanos, who is the quarterback for Boston College, not their running back. At halftime, he had 7 rushes for 15 yards. Know what you're betting on before you bet it. Now, that said, I just looked to see where that bet stood at this point in time. So there is now 1 minute and 11 seconds, and they appear to be kneeling because he is at 14 rushes and 73 yards. So I'm going to come up 18 yards short there on hitting that profit boost. But I have no business winning that bet because I didn't bother to look to find out what position the rushing was. Like, just stupid. Folks, know who you're betting on before you bet. That shouldn't be a news story, but, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're an idiot. I'll just jump on. I also took a boost on this game, and I bet on Florida State, thinking maybe they would bounce back after they lost last week. Maybe I should have thought to myself, maybe Florida State has already shown us who they are since they did lose last week in week 0.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going to lose that bet. Fortunately, I had won quite a few other bets this weekend. It was a good start. It was a good start to the season. I had some boosts that I put in play. I had Georgia covering the spread. I had Notre Dame winning outright. I had the Illini covering their spread. I just missed a really decent sized parlay. But I'm ready. It's starting here. I gotta start a column and start making my picks for the super contest. And I think what I'll do is I'll just write that as a column and post that. And then maybe we can discuss it on Monday nights after we see how those have fared.
So there you
it's
go.
Too
You
early in the week for me to try to make the picks.
You got a column coming from Big J over there on his bets, and I am working on some statistical stuff just that I found interesting. I shared with the guys looking at how where starting field position may affect drives. And I'm sure there's lots of other stuff out there, but always fun to look at and see how things go with this new kickoff rule. So we'll be tracking that. All right. That's it, dude. You got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is preseason's over. It's the regular season, boys. We got real football, and it's time. It's like Christmas Eve right now.
Yes, sir. 3 days from now, we got that Baltimore, Kansas City. We've got our conference champion match going on. So that'll be good to see. It's always good to get into it. And next week, like I said, we'll be recording during Monday Night Football. So we're going to have a lot to unpack really fast. Go over some of these games and see how things are going. All right. Thank you to everyone that stuck around this long. We really appreciate you. Again, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, so you know when we put out a new episode. And again, it's completely free and helps the channel out. You can also follow us at Another Bad Call on the big 3 social platforms, and head over to anotherbadcall.com, where occasionally we'll write some stuff. As we mentioned, we got some stuff coming on here. And that'll do it for tonight. So until next time, try to avoid making another bad call.
Peace.